various overcome problems that we might have encountered in file-based management system and how to overcome them. We are going to discuss the same today. So there are various disadvantages of the file-based system that we have encountered and how to overcome them with the help of DBMS. We are going to discuss them one by one. So in previous days, or I can say in traditional era, we were using file-based system that was difficult to manage because huge files were there when we are supposed to maintain the same, and in addition there was a huge manual effort that was required. So if we are talking about those things, then it was very difficult for us to deal with the problems that we have encountered those days, because those days technology was not like it was developed, but it was not like readily available. All the things are not readily available, and it was not like there was not awareness about the digital data among the people, or I can say masses. So we can't handle if there were any problems that were there in file based system. So like it was the file based system in which we are supposed to store large files over there, and in which we are supposed to store the data. And in order to store the data, we are supposed to manage hundred of thousands of files. And if I want to have a look at any one of the particular record at any instant of time, then it was not possible for me according to the performance wise, because it was not efficient that it can provide me with all the queries that I have raised in an quick efficient of time, or I can say efficiently, because like it a lot of effort was required manually to locate the file that was that I am asking for, or to locate a particular record that I am asking for. And it require huge complex procedures as well, because nobody knows if it is stored in the sequential whatever the database could be there for a particular organization, if it is stored department wise, if it is stored again in department, if it is file is arranged according to a particular order, like there could be a sequence that could be followed for same, or there could be some logic that is behind storing those files. So if that was followed, then it is okay, otherwise it might have created a problem. So that is why I am saying that there was a huge difficulty in dealing with the file based system in those days, because redundant data was there, and whatever the entry is coming, we are filing, or I can say we are supposed to insert or add the things into the register or into the files without knowing the fact that the data is already available in some previous files that might be stored there, or the data is available already in some XYZ file. So we were not bothering about the data redundancy that we are going to create in the new files, because every new entry that is welcome to the organization, he or she is putting his or her remarks, or he is putting his entries in the records, and irrespective of the fact that if it is already stored and we are not uh, taking care of the same. So in that manner, it is leading to a very complex and I can say tedious management system that is to be dealt, and that is to be dealt carefully, because there are some procedures that are supposed to follow in order to handle the same, because otherwise it could be a complex procedure and in the end no output will be received. And why we are working for a file based system if we are not receiving any kind of output at our disposal? Then like after putting so much effort, after hiring so many employees for handling the system, and after keeping a particular room for the storage of the files, and in addition there are so many operations that could be associated with the same, and we are putting cost, we are investing time, we are investing cost, we are investing resources, but in the end we are receiving no output. So how to deal with the same? So that leads to the development of DBMS system, so that everything could be handled with the help of the softwares and hardwares. In addition, if there was a failure in any file based system, like if any file is not found, or if any record is not found, then it could be the case that it could not be found forever, because nobody is bothered about complex procedures, or I can say if it requires so much hard work to produce that particular complex record, that like that is in a ambiguous state, and that is needed to be addressed. But in file based system it was not possible to handle such issues, because due to the tediousness, or I can say due to the problematic management of the system in which it was about to store, or in which it is already stored. So these are certain problems that were associated with the file based system. So we are supposed to deal with the same if we are talking about database management system. So in database management system, why there was the need to switch to the database management system? So that the first thing and the most important thing was data redundancy, because whenever the data is repeated over and over, it is creating confusion, and confusion, it is making the system more complex. Either I could refer to this data, or I could refer to this data. Either this data is true or this data is true. Either after processing any particular query, this query is processing the right results, or this query is processing the right results. It was very difficult to distinguish between the two. So that is why it leads to the development of the some system that could handle all the problems that were there in the file based system, and it leads to the development of database management system. So what was there in the database management system, it has handled all the problems of the file based system to a particular level. Like 80% of problems were removed. No system is perfect, and no system is even like nothing is perfect in this universe. Everything is having its own pros and cons. If there are certain positive points, we just admire the same, and we just accept those. And if there are some problems that are associated with the system, then we are supposed to deal with the same, how to overcome the same. That could lead to the latest version, or I can say we can add more features to the same by creating a new feature of the same, or I can say creating the new version of the same system that we are going to use, in which we are facing some kind of difficulties. So same is the case with DBMS system. It has not solved all the problems, but it has solved most of the problems of the file-based system. I can say 80 to 85% problems. Only 15% are left that could be dealt in another version of the DBMS system. That could be any other software system, or I can say any other database that could be there to handle all such problems. But to much extent, it has been it has been resolved. So same is the case here. We are going to discuss in database management system. So what is basically database management system? Let's have a look at the same. Now, if we are talking about database management system, it could be an organized collection of structured information or data that is typically stored electronically in a computer system. So the data can then be easily accessed, managed, modified, updated, controlled, and organized. And most databases use structured query language for writing and querying the data. So what is basically database and its example? So database is a data structure that store organized information. For example, a company database may include tables for products, employees, and financial records, and each of these tables would have different fields that are relevant to the information that is stored in the table. So there are various types of databases that we have already discussed in the last class, like centralized database system, distributed database system, relational database system, NoSQL database system, cloud database system, object-oriented database system, hierarchical database system, and network database system. So why we are supposed to use database? So that we can handle the data centrally. We can handle the data in the distributed manner. We can handle the data with the help of object-oriented database. So there are certain terms that are associated with the same. Next is like how we are supposed to deal with the same, and what are the advantages of database system. What are the advantages of database system? Like better data transferring from one file to another. If I am supposed to transfer the data, then it is possible for me to do the same with the help of DBMS system. I can just apply SQL queries. I can just apply any software queries that I am using. Like it could be SQL, it could be Oracle, it could be MSSX, it could be any other software that I am going to use in order to handle the database. So same is the case here. Next is data security. That was missing in file-based management system, that is provided in the file-based man. Like if there are certain problems like system crashes, and there could be some recovery mechanism for the same, but in file-based system it was not possible. If the files got damaged, it could not be repaired. We are supposed to create new files from the scratch. Next is better data integration. Like in file-based system, we are supposed to keep the records manually in order to attain the integrity. But if we are talking about database management system, it is very easy, because each and every transaction is concerned with 2 or 3 steps, and if that steps are there in order and they are occurring in the order, then the data integrity is achieved. Otherwise it could be violated. Next is minimized data inconsistency. Now, what is basically data inconsistency? If the database is consistent before the execution of the transaction, then it could be consistent after the execution of the transaction. Now, what does that mean? Like if I am performing any transaction like A and B on A and B account, like I am supposed to transfer some funds from A account to B account via banking transaction, and there could be 3 steps that could be associated with that transaction in order to transfer funds from account number A to account number B. So after the second step, if some crashes occur, like there is a power failure, then from A account the amount is deducted, because I am supposed to transfer amounts 1,000 rupees, 1,000 from account A to B, and let's say there was account balance in A 5,000, and after the deduction of 1,000 there could be balance that was left 4,000, and again B account was having 5,000, but after the addition it could be 6,000. But again, because from the A transaction, or I can say from A account, the amount is deducted, but in B account it is not getting added because of the failure that occurred in between. So I can say that my database entered into an inconsistent state, and that could be handled with the help of DBMS solutions. Like if there are power failures, there could be some mechanisms that could be provided, so that at what point my transaction stopped working, when electricity came or when power comes to the execution, then it could start executing the query from the same point where it was stopped. It could not be the case that it is starting again my transaction from the first step, because otherwise my database will enter into the inconsistent state, because instead of deducting 1,000 rupees, it is deducting my 2,000 rupees from the account number A. So that could lead to the inconsistency, and that is handled by providing backup mechanisms in DBMS to a much extent, because there are only 1 out of 100 cases in which inconsistency occur, and that could be the worst case, and we are dealing with worst cases as well nowadays. Next is faster data access. If we are dealing with database, then we are supposed to receive data as fast as we can with the help of SQL queries or with the help of any other software that we are going to use for handling the database operations. In addition, increased end user productivity, because users can handle their request as much as they can, like in the fraction of second it could be handled, because a user has requested to check his balance in the account or in his bank account. It could be immediately inquired with the help of the transaction. Nowadays mini statement could easily be like executed, or I can say mini statement could easily be taken from the ATM machine by not going to the bank itself. In addition, nowadays every bank is having specific mobile applications, so that we are not supposed to go to even ATM, and we are not supposed to stand in the long queues, and we can easily collect the balance enquiry statements or last transaction that was executed, or the amount that was deducted or inserted into the account with the help of the mini statement application that is available on the mobile device. For example, like Union Bank of India is having U mobile app that you can easily install on your system, and you can get the mini statements in order to retrieve your transaction details, like mini statement what was the last 2-3 transactions that have been there on your system. So you are not supposed to go to the ATM machine, or I can say banks tellers, so that they can tell you about your transaction. No, this could not be the case nowadays. You can just now you are not now supposed to have an internet connection at your disposal, and you will be done with the same. Next is, it is simple to operate. Anybody who is who know how to operate the mobile, who knows how to operate the computer, can easily do all the handling of the database in an efficient manner. Now let's discuss at the disadvantages of database management system, because if a system is having advantages, it could be having some disadvantages as well. No system is perfect, as I told you. So let's have a look at the disadvantages of database management system. So the first one is the cost of hardware and the software. Cost of hardware and the software. Like in file-based system, we are not dealing with any software or hardware. We are just working with the files. In that case, human effort was required. Nowadays, in DBMS, hardware is required, software is required. Various softwares like MS Access, SQL Server, so many softwares. It requires specific applications to build. Special trainers could be required. Special administration traitors could be required in order to handle the same. And there could be networking interfaces that we are using, network components that we are using. So storage management could be there, and we are supposed to handle the storage procedures as well, either in the DBMS as well. So there is a disadvantage that is associated with the same, that is cost of hardware and the software. So what is the same? Let's have a look at the same. Like a processor with high speed of data processing and memory of large size is required. Next is cost of data conversion. Very difficult and costly method to convert data of data files into database. Next is cost of staff training, as I told you earlier, because DBMS is a software and we are supposed to train the staff so that they can operate the sail through the operations of the DBMS smoothly. So how could they do the same if we are providing training to the staff? So in that manner, they will be able to do the same. So a lot of amount for the training of staff to run the DBMS is required. In addition, appointing technical staff. We are supposed to appoint technical staff, because if there are any problems, any database application developer has built the application, but how to maintain that application, we require some technical staff. So in order to hire the staff, it could cost us. So same is the case here. We are supposed to appoint technical staff, trained technical persons like database administrator, application programmers, data entry operators. They are required to handle the DBMS. Next is how to handle the database damage. If all the data is integrated into a single database like centralized database management system, if database is damaged due to electric failure or database is corrupted on the storage media, then your valuable data may be lost forever and it could not be recovered. Because I told you 99% is the case that we can recover from problems, but 1% could be the case that could lead us into the worst case and it could not be recovered at all. So that could be the case that we are supposed to deal with. Actually, there are various examples of DBMS system. Have a look at the same. So what are the various examples of database management system? Some of the common examples of database management systems are Oracle, IBM's DB2 Database 2, Microsoft SQL Server, MS Access, and Informix. In addition, some of the desktop-based DBMS are Microsoft FoxPro, Borland DBase, and Microsoft Access. So these are all the examples of DBMS software that we are going to use. You can choose any one of the software because there could be a difference in syntax only. Otherwise, the operation of each and every software is same. There could be certain limitations with each and every software, and there could be pros and cons of each and every software that we are going to use. So if you are doing good with SQL, then you are supposed to adopt the same. If you are doing good with Oracle, then you are supposed to adopt the same, or I can say functionality of the same. So it is up to you how you can handle or how you can adapt to a particular database. Next is if I am talking about MS Access software. What is basically MS Access software? Let's have a look at the same. If we are talking about MS Access, that is Microsoft Access, is a database management system. It is given to us by Microsoft that combines the relational Microsoft Jet database engine. So what is that Jet database engine? It is the database engine on which several Microsoft products have been built. And the first version of Jet was developed in 1992. It was consist of three modules which could be used to manipulate our database. With graphical, it is also available with graphical user interface. Now, what is graphical user interface? Like, it is the form of user interface that allows users to interact with electronic devices through graphical icons and audio indicator, such as primary notations instead of text-based user interfaces, typed commands, labels, or text navigation. And software development tools. It is a member of Microsoft 365 suite of applications that is included in the professional and higher editions, or it could be sold separately. Next is Microsoft Access stores data in its own format that is based on Access Jet database engine. It can also import or link directly to data that is stored in other applications and databases. Now we are talking about software developers, data architectures, power users that can use Microsoft Access to develop application software. So what is basically application software? It is the computer program that is designed to carry out a specific task other than one relating to the operation of the computer itself. So it is typically to be used by end users. Word processors, media players, accounting softwares are the examples of the same. And the collective nouns refers to all the applications. And like other Microsoft Office applications, Access is supported by Visual Basic for Applications, that is VBA. That is an object-based programming language that can reference a variety of objects, including the legacy of data access objects. In addition, ActiveX of data objects. What is basically ActiveX data object? It is depreciated software framework that is created by Microsoft that adapts its earlier component object model, that is POM, and object linking and embedding OLE technologies for content downloaded from a network, particularly from the www, and many of the other ActiveX components. So visual objects used in forms and reports, they could expose their methods and properties in the VBA programming environment, and VBA code modules may declare and call Windows operating system operations. So what could be operating system here? It is the system software that manages computer hardware, software, resources, and provides common services for the computer program. Next is what is the history behind MS Access. Like before Access came into the existence, Borland and Fox जिसको हम बोलते हैं, it was dominated the desktop database market, and Microsoft Access was the first mass market database program for Windows. With Microsoft purchase of Fox Pro in 1992 and the incorporation of Fox query optimization routines into Access. Now, what is query optimization? That is the feature for many relational database management systems and other database, such as graph database. The query optimizer attempts to determine the most efficient way to execute a given query by considering the possible query in an efficient manner, like by availing its resources that are available at its disposal by considering the plans of the query. So Microsoft Access quickly became the dominant database for Windows, effectively eliminating the competition which failed to transition from the MS-DOS world. So there are certain projects that are associated with the same. It was the project Omega. Microsoft first attempt to sell a relational database project was during the mid 1980s when Microsoft obtained the license to sell Arbase. And in the late 1980s, Microsoft developed its own solution, that is Omega. It was confirmed in 1988 that a database product for Windows and operating system was in development, and it was going to include in the embedded basic language, which was going to be the language for writing macros in all Microsoft applications. But the unification of macro languages did not happen until the introduction of Visual Basics for applications that we have discussed earlier. So Omega was also expected to provide a front end to the Microsoft SQL Server, and the application was very resource hungry, and there were reports that it was working slowly on the 386 processor because that was the processor that was used at that time, and it was scheduled to be released in the first quarter of 1990. But in 1989, the development of the product was reset, and it was rescheduled to be delivered no sooner than in Jan 1991. So the parts of the projects were later used for the other Microsoft projects, and after Access Premier, the Omega project was demonstrated in 1992 to several journalists and included features that were not available in Access. Next is a timeline that was concerned with that project. Like in 1992, Microsoft released Access version 1.0 on November 13, 1992, and an Access 1.1 was released on May 1993 to improve compatibility with other Microsoft products and to include the Access basic programming language. So this was about Microsoft Access, how it evolved, how it developed, how there are various versions that are getting added to the same. In the end, Microsoft Access 2000 increased the maximum database size to 2 GB from 1 GB in Access 97. In addition, Microsoft Access 2007 was introduced a new database format in which it supports links to SharePoint list and complex data types such as multi-value and attachment fields. And these new field types are essentially record sets in fields and allow the storage of multiple values or files in one field. And Microsoft Access 2007 also introduced file attachment field, which stored data more efficiently than object linking and embedding field. Next is Microsoft Access 10. 10 is now there. It introduced a new version of the format that was supported by hosting Access web services on SharePoint 2010 server. For the first time, this allowed Access applications to be run without having to install Access on their PC and was the first support of Mac users. Any user on the SharePoint site with sufficient rights could see the Access web service, and a copy of the Access was still required for the developer to create the Access web service, and the desktop version of the Access remained part of the Access 2010. And the Access web services were not the same as the desktop application, and automation was only through the macro languages, not VBA, which Access automatically converted to JavaScript. So the data was no longer in an Access database but SharePoint list. An Access desktop database could link to the SharePoint data, so hybrid applications were possible so that SharePoint users needing basic views and edits could be supported while the more sophisticated traditional applications could remain in the desktop Access database. Next is Microsoft Access 2013. Offers traditional Access desktop applications plus a significantly updated SharePoint 2013 web service. The Access web service model in Access 2010 was replaced by a new architecture that stored its data in actual SQL Server databases. Unlike SharePoint list, this offers true relational database design with referential integrity, scalability, extensibility, and performance one would expect from the SQL Server. The database solutions that can be created on SharePoint 2013 offer a modern user interface design to display multiple levels of relationships that can be viewed and edited along with resizing for different devices and support for touch. The Access 2013 desktop is similar to Access 2010, but several features were discontinued, including support for data access projects, ADP, pivot tables, pivot charts, access data collection, source code control, replication, and other legacy features. Access desktop database maximize size remain 2 GB as it has been since then 2000 version. So there are various uses of the same. What are the same? Like the number of simultaneous users that can be supported, that depends on the amount of data or the task that is being performed, and the level of use and application design. And generally accepted limits are solution with 1 GB or less of data. Access supports up to 2 GB, and it performs quite well with 100 or fewer simultaneous connection, and 255 concurrent users are supported, and this capability is often a good fit for departmental solutions. And if using an access database solution in a multi-user scenario, the application should be split. This means that the tables are in one file called backend, typically stored on a shared network folder, and the application components, forms, reports, queries, codes, macros, link tables, are in another file called the front end. So the linked tables in the front end point to the back end line, and each user of the Access application would then receive his or her own copy of the front end line. And applications that run complex queries or analysis across large data sets would naturally require greater bandwidth and memory. Microsoft Access is designed to scale to support more data and users by linking to multiple Access database or using a backend database like Microsoft SQL Server. With the later design, the amount of data and users can scale to enterprise level solution. Next is what are the various features that are associated with MS Access. That is, user can create tables, queries, forms, and reports and connect them together with the macros. And advanced users can use VBA to write rich solutions with advanced data manipulation and user control. And Access also has report creation features that can work with any data source that Access can access. So the original concept of Access was for end users to be able to access data from any source. And other features include like the import and export of data to many formats, including Excel, Outlook, ASCII, DBase, Paradox, FoxPro, SQL Server, and Oracle. So it also has the ability to link to data in its existing location and use it for viewing, querying, editing, and reporting. And this allows the existing data to change while ensuring that Access uses the latest data. It can perform heterogeneous joins between datasets stored across different platforms, and it is often used by people downloading data from enterprise level databases for manipulation, analysis, and reporting locally. So there is also JET database format, that is MDB, in Access 2007, which can contain the application and data in one file, and this make it very convenient to distribute the entire application to another user who can run it in disconnected environment. Next is one of the benefit of Access from a programmer's perspective is its relative compatibility with SQL, that is structured query language, and it can be viewed graphically or edited as SQL statements, and SQL statements can be used directly in macros and VBA modules to manipulate Access tables, and users can mix and use both VBAs and macros for programming forms and logic, and it could offer object-oriented possibilities. And VBA can also be included in queries. So these are all the functions of the MS Access that I have discussed. Like it could allow the creation of database for MS Windows family. It could permit users to design and create complete database with quick and easy data entry. It can store any kind of data like numbers, pages of text, pictures. It is a tool for managing the database, and it is basically a relational database management system. So this is the picture for the same. Now if we are supposed to get started with the same, these are the practical aspects of the same. If you are having Microsoft Office in your system, then you can easily operate the same, because there is a Microsoft Office Access 2007 that could be there, and you will be directed toward this page after clicking on the same. So there could be a blank database that could be residing there, and you are supposed to create the same in that manner. So it is very easy to use, and you can relate it with any front end that you are going to use. Next is, what are the basic features of MS Access? User can create tables and it can manage them. It can design reports to present the data. It can attach files to the database. It permits filtering the data that is based on text, numbers, and date. And it can also sort the data. I mean, it can either arrange the data in ascending order or in descending order. It could allow queries to analyze the data, by which we can retrieve the data, large amount of data according to a particular query that is presented to us. Next is a toolbar that is used to create a MS Access database. Now here you can see, if you have opened the same, you can open it in your system. You can do the same, like you can have a look at the toolbar. There is a home page that is available here, where we can view. There is a clipboard, we can maintain reports, we can sort it, we can find it. Nowadays, with the help of the software system, nothing is required manually. Everything, even formulas are already like inbuilt. We are just supposed to click the same. Just intelligence is required, or I can say smartness is required to do the same. Nothing manual effort, nothing you are supposed to remember, nothing like you could be having a like overview about the same. Because if we are dealing with computer activities in our day-to-day routine, then we can easily manage the access software of the database. Next is create, that is concerned with creating a table, creating a form, creating a report, creating a query, and any other thing that I want to create in MS Access. Next is external data. I want to import it, I want to export it, or I want to collect data. So these are certain terms that are associated with external data. Next is database tools. Now it could show, hide, analyze, or move the data. It could show me the data, it could hide the data, it could analyze the data, it could move the data, and it could handle the data. Next is data sheets that we are going to use. We can view it, we can provide fields into the same, we can provide columns into the same. There could be a format that we can specify, and there could be relationships that could be defined inside the same. So these are all the things that we are supposed to handle when we are dealing with the toolbar in the database, when we are supposed to create a database in the MS Access. So these are certain points. Next is the create tab. What is the function of the create tab? Obviously, we are supposed to create the table, we are supposed to create the forms. So these are the thing. Home, create, you can create a table, you can create a table template, there are table designs that are given there. You can select any appropriate design, you can select any appropriate template according to the same. Next is forms that are available. After clicking on the forms, you will be presented with the form. You want to split the form, you want multiple forms, or you want multiple items in the form. There could be more things that could be associated with the form, and you can relate the same to the database that you are going to handle. So these are the practical aspects of the MS Access. Just have a look at the same. It could be a blank form, it could be a split form, it could be a multi-tense form. reports and blank query. Next is we are going to discuss about reports and blank query. So what is there in report and what is there in query? If we are supposed to deal with the reports, then we are supposed to print it, or there could be a blank report that we are supposed to generate. There could be a customized report. We can add customization according to our requirement, and we can create a design in the report. Next is query. We can search it, we can create a query, find duplicate query, unmatched query, select table for creating a query. So these are all the things that have been given here. You can have a look at the same. These are the practical aspects of the query that we are going to create, or these are the practical aspects of the MS Access database that we are going to generate. Next is how we can apply DBMS in real life. What are the various applications of DBMS? So what is basically DBMS? Before discussing about DBMS, let's discuss about Access services and web databases. So ASP.NET Web Forms can query a Microsoft Access database, and they can retrieve records and display them on the browser. In addition, SharePoint Server 2010 via Access Services allows for Access 2010 database to be published to the SharePoint, thus enabling multiple users to interact with the database application from any standard compliant web browser. Access web-based databases published to SharePoint Server can use standard objects such as tables, queries, forms, macros, and reports. Access services that could store those objects in SharePoint. And Access 2013 offers the availability to publish Access web solutions on SharePoint 2013 rather than using SharePoint list as its data source. Access 2013 uses an actual SQL Server database hosted by SharePoint or SQL Azure. So this could offer a true relational database with relational integrity, scalability, maintainability, extensibility compared to the SharePoint views Access 2010 used. So the macro language is enhanced to support the more sophisticated programming logic and database level automation. So in addition, there are some things that we are supposed to discuss, like Microsoft Access can also import or link directly to data stored in other applications and databases, and Microsoft Office Access 2007 and newer can import from or link to Microsoft Access, Excel, SharePoint list, plain text, XML, Outlook, HTML, DBase, Paradox, Lotus 123, ODBC. In addition, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, IBM Lotus Notes. Next is Microsoft Access Runtime. So what is basically the same? It could offer free runtime versions of Microsoft Access, which allows user to run an Access desktop application without needing to purchase or install a retail versions of the Microsoft Access. So this usually allow Access developers to create databases that can be freely distributed to an unlimited number of users. So these runtime versions of Access 2007 and later can be downloaded for free from Microsoft. In addition, the runtime versions for Access 2003 and earlier were part of the Office developer extensions, or I can say toolkit, and required a separate purchase. So the runtime versions allow users to view, edit, and delete data along with running queries, forms, reports, macros, and VBA module code. The runtime version does not allow users to change the design of the Microsoft Access tables, queries, forms, reports, macros, and module code. So the runtime versions are similar to their corresponding full versions of Access and usually compatible with earlier versions. For example, Access Runtime 2010 allows a user to run an Access application made with 2010 version as well as 2007 to 2000. So due to depreciated features in Access 2013, its runtime version is also unable to support those older features, and during development, one can simulate the runtime environment from the fully functional version by the use of runtime command line option. Now we are concerned with development here. Access stores all the database tables, queries, forms, reports, macros, and modules in the Access-Jack database as a single file. So for query development, Access offers a query designer, a graphical user interface that allows users to build queries without knowledge of structured query language. In the query designer, user can show the data sources of the query, which can be tables or queries, and select the fields they want returned by clicking and dragging them into the grid. One can set up joins by clicking and dragging fields in table or fields in the other tables. So access allows users to view and manipulate the SQL code if desired, and it can access any table including linked tables from different data sources. It can be used in a query. So Access can also support the creation of pass-through queries. The snippets of SQL code can address external data sources through the use of ODBC connection on the local machine. So this enables user to interact with data stored outside the Access program without using linked tables or JET. So user construct the pass-through queries using the SQL syntax supported by the external data source. When developing reports in design view, additions or changes to control cause any linked queries to execute in any background, and the designer is forced to wait for records to be returned before being able to make another change. So this feature cannot be turned off. Now we are supposed to have a look at the disadvantages, or I can say applications of DBMS. We can use the software of the DBMS in airlines and railway. Online databases for reservations, displaying the schedule information that could be there. Next is banking, customer inquiry, accounts, loans, and other transactions that could be handled there. Education, like course registration, what are the results and other information. Now courses are running online as well. Telecommunications, communication network, telephone numbers, record of calls for generating monthly bills, etc. It could be used in the field of telecommunication. Next is e-commerce websites, business activities like online shopping, booking of holiday package, consulting a doctor. It could be done with the help of the DBMS. Next is human resource. Organizations uses database for storing information about their employees, salaries, benefits, taxes, and for generating salary checks. So these are all the applications of DBMS, and we have discussed various things about how we can practically use DBMS with the help of MS Access. What are the features of MS Access? How we can use MS Access? What are the development details behind the MS Access that we have discussed? In addition, what are the benefits of using the same, and how we can use the same? That is also discussed. What are the practical aspects of the MS Access that we have used? So this was all about basically what are the disadvantages of file-based system and what are the disadvantages of DBMS system. In addition, we have discussed about applications of DBMS system and MS Access in detail today. So this was all about my today's lecture. If you are having any query, you can ask me any question. Just go through all the slides that have been discussed so far. If there is any query, you can ask me. There are various examples of database that have been there, but we have discussed MS Access and its practical aspects. There are various features that are associated with the same. What is the toolbar and how we can use those toolbars with the help of various tabs. So that was all about today's lecture. In addition, we have discussed about the applications of database management system. So next is reference link is given here. You can follow the books Computer Fundamentals by Anita Goel, DBMS Principles and Products, Charles, Modern DBMS by Pressman and Jeffrey A. Hoffer, Information Technology Training Program Module 2, CAIPC, and Computer Fundamentals by P.K. Sinha. These are all the books that you might refer when you are dealing with database management system subject. So these are the links that have been given for your reference. Like these are the 3 or 5 links that you can refer to when you are dealing with database subject. So this was all about today's class. In addition, you are having MCQ for today's lecture. There are 10 questions and each question is having 4 choices and you are supposed to take any one answer. So have a look at all the questions. These are the 10 questions. So this was all about my today's class. Thank you. Have a nice day.